Chairman, it's fair to say I disagreed with Director Comey as much as anyone in this room. But the timing of this firing is wrong to anyone with a semblance of ethics. Director Comey should be here this morning testifying to the American people about where the investigation he's been running stands. At our public hearing in January, when he refused to discuss his investigation into connections between Russia and Trump associates, I stated my fear that if the information didn't come out before Inauguration Day, it might never come out. With all the recent talk in recent weeks about whether there is evidence of collusion, I fear some colleagues have forgotten that Donald Trump urged the Russians to hack his opponents. He also said repeatedly that he loved WikiLeaks. So the question is not whether Donald Trump actively encouraged the Russians and WikiLeaks to attack our democracy. He did. That is an established fact. The only question is whether he or someone associated with him coordinated with the Russians. Now, Mr. McCabe, the President's letter to Director Comey asserted that on 3 separate occasions, the Director informed him that he was not under investigations. Would it have been wrong for the Director to inform him he was not under investigation? So yes or no?
Sir, I'm not going to comment on any conversations that the Director may have had.
I didn't ask that. Would it have been wrong for the Director to inform him he was not under investigation? That's not about conversations. That's a yes or no answer.
As you know, Senator, we typically do not answer that question. I will not comment on whether or not the Director and the President of the United States had that conversation.
Will you refrain from these kinds of alleged updates to the President or anyone else in the White House on the status of the investigation?
I will.
Thank you. Director Pompeo, one of the few key unanswered questions is why the President didn't fire Michael Flynn after Acting Attorney General Yates warned the White House that he could be blackmailed by the Russians. Director Pompeo, did you know about the Acting Attorney General's warnings to the White House, or were you aware of the concerns behind the warning?
I don't have any comment on that.
Well, were you aware of the concerns behind the warning? I mean, this is a global threat. This is a global threat question. It's a global threat hearing. Were you aware?
Senator, tell me what global threat it is you're concerned with, please. I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, the possibility of blackmail. I mean, blackmail by an influential military official, that has real ramifications for the global threat. So this is not about a policy implication. This is about the National Security Advisor being vulnerable to blackmail by the Russians. The American people deserve to know whether in these extraordinary circumstances the CIA kept them safe.
Yes, sir. The CIA has kept America safe. And,
So-
and the people at the Central Intelligence Agency are committed to that and will remain committed to that. And
So
we will
you
do
won't
that. We will do that in the face
You
of.
won't answer the question.
We will do that in the face of political challenges that come from any direction,
But
Senator.
you will not answer the question of whether or not you were aware of the concerns behind the Yates warning.
So I don't know exactly what you're referring to with the Yates warning. I wasn't part of any of those conversations.
The Yates warning was
Literally, Senator, I have
blackmail.
no firsthand information with respect to the warning that was given.
Okay.
She didn't make that warning to me. I can't answer that question,
Okay.
Senator, as much as I would like to.
Okay. Director Coates, how concerned are you that a Russian government oil company run by a Putin crony could end up owning a significant percentage of U.S. oil refining capacity? And what are you advising the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States about this?
I don't have specific information relative to that. I think that's something that potentially we could provide intelligence on in terms of what the situation might be. But
I'd like you to furnish that in writing. Let me see if I can get one other question in. There have been mountains of press stories with allegations about financial connections between Russia and Trump and his associates. The matters are directly relevant to the FBI, and my question is, when it comes to illicit Russian money, and in particular its potential to be laundered on its way to the United States, what should the committee be most concerned about? We hear stories about Deutsche Bank, Bank of Cyprus, shell companies in Moldova, the British Virgin Islands. I'd like to get your sense, because I'm over my time, Director McCabe, what should we be most concerned about with respect to illicit Russian money and its potential to be laundered on its way to the United States?
Yes, certainly, sir. So as you know, I am not in a position to be able to speak about specific investigations, and certainly not in this setting. However, I will confirm for you that those are issues that concern us greatly. They have traditionally, and they do even more so today, as it becomes easier to conceal the origin and the track and the destination and purpose of illicit money flows, as the exchange of information becomes more clouded in encryption and more obtuse. It becomes harder and harder to get to the bottom of those investigations that would shed light on those issues.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Risch.